What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Cjthecheesedj here, and we are back with another A to Z of Ark for you guys today. And as you can see from the ravenous wolf at our heels, we are talking about the Direwolves today. Now, these guys are found on every map except for Aberration, so take note of that. If you want to tame some Direwolves, don't go to Aberration. Now, as for taming these guys, they are aggressive tames, so you will need to knock them out. A couple of options on how to go about doing it. You can use an RG to pick them up, you can bowler them, you can kite them into a trap. It's entirely up to you as long as you knock them out. Now, generally, you'll find these guys in packs of about 5 or 6, so you need to be very careful if you're going about taming them using bowlers, because the other pack members will aggro on you and try to eat your brains. So make sure if you're doing it like that, you've got a flyer ready to pick up the direwolf, or you are kiting them back to a trap. Now, once you've successfully bowled or immobilized your direwolf, you then will need to knock it out using torpor. So we're using shock and train darts here with a long neck, and just like that, this big girl has fallen asleep. Now, in order to tame them, you can use superior kibble. If you don't have access to superior kibble, your next best bet is for some mutton. You can generally find mutton depending on what map you're on, relatively easy. Simply chuck in the mutton and you will be able to tame these guys up relatively quickly. Direwolves tame up pretty quickly. Their food drains at a decent pace, so just make sure you babysit a little bit, because stuff will aggro on these guys, and you'll have yourself a direwolf in a matter of moments. Now, as for saddles, these guys do not have any saddles. They don't get any armor buffs or anything like that. So unfortunately, you will need to be a little bit careful with them. Make sure you pump a bit of health on them to make sure that they have some survivability, because they do not get any protection like some of the other dinos do with armor and saddles and stuff like that. So you will need to be very careful when taking them up against threats and stuff like that. Now, once you've successfully tamed up your direwolf, you can hop right back on that bad boy and jump around and just kill everything. Now, a couple of abilities of the direwolf: you can jump, you've got a primary attack. Their primary attack deals decent damage. You can attack while running, so that is effective. They also have a passive where they're able to sense the health of nearby creatures that are below 50% health. So, for example, if it's red, it means they're below 50 health. If it's orange, it means they're below 25%. And then if it's white, they are dead. So you can use that to find corpses. Even dead enemy PvPers will appear on your direwolf's screen. So you can see there, the Megaloceros is yellow. It's going to slowly go to orange, and then it will turn to white when we kill him. Just like that, boom. So you've got that as well for the direwolf. Whoa, okay. It's a little bit, comes in handy if you're struggling to see how much health something has. You can use that ability to sort of determine whether or not you need to stick around, or whether or not you should go. So another ability that the direwolf has is that it has the ability to sense creatures underground and explorer notes. So you can see here we're pressing the C button, the third tertiary attack button, and that's causing our direwolf to have a little bit of sniff. See if he can sense anything, and it will detect survivor notes or like explorer notes that you haven't discovered. It'll also detect buried Reaper Kings, basilisks, purlovias, all that sort of stuff. The direwolf will detect using that sniff ability. So they're pretty useful for that PvP department sort of thing. Very similar to the Diplodocus, except the Diplodocus, you can't know they're there unless you've got like a direwolf or a parasaur telling you. And then, yeah, once you've discovered it, you can actually knock it out with the Diplodocus. So they pair very well with the Diplodocuses if that's what you want to use them for. Now, onto their more combat side of things. They are a pack animal, so they will get buffs when being in a pack. Now, you can currently see that our direwolves have +3 above their head. That means these direwolves will deal an extra 15% damage. So for each direwolf you have in the pack that's contributing to the number fold, you will gain an extra 5% attack damage. Now, this caps out at +4. So, for example, we can summon in one more direwolf and it will cap out. That is the maximum pack of direwolves you can have that will get this buff. After that, it will reset. So you can have like more than these following you around. They just won't get the buff from that pack leader. Nonetheless, once you've got a pack, you can actually howl, and the pack leader will gain the pack leader buff. So this howl increases the damage of the pack by 50%. So you're going to be looking at a lot of damage. Now, as well as that, these guys also gain a 25% damage mitigation. So that means any damage they take will be reduced by 25%. So you can use these guys to go out destroying the entirety of all arcs, and you will not have a problem with pretty much anything, really. The only things you really need to worry about are like gigas and like big ass Rexes and shit like that. Other than that, you're pretty much going to be invulnerable on the back of these guys. But like I said earlier, do be careful because they do not have any saddles. So you will need to be rather careful in order to protect these guys. So make sure you do pump a bit of health on them and whatnot. Otherwise, you might get nuked down by enemy players or anything like that. So you need to be a bit careful on that regards. But yeah, the damage is great. They deal more damage when they're in a pack. So definitely get these guys in a pack ASAP. However, once you use the Howl ability, you will then have to wait 90 seconds for it to reactivate before you're able to reactivate it again. So just be careful during that downtime because you will lose quite a bit of damage. Like, for example, before we were hitting for about 230, I think it was, 228. We're now going to be hitting for a little bit less than that, 145. Oh, that's a 150 Megatherium. So you will need to be careful in that regards. But if you've got a pack of these guys, you're easily going to be able to shred whatever it is that you're up against. Whether you've got the Alpha Pack buff or not, you can definitely deal a lot of damage with these guys, especially after they've got some levels pumped into them. Now, as for finding these guys, you'll generally find them in the snow biomes on most maps. Scorched Earth, they're kind of scattered everywhere because Scorched Earth is just a giant-ass desert. So they're kind of scattered everywhere. On Scorched Earth, though, you'll generally find them solitary. They don't actually hang around in packs as far as I've been able to tell on Scorched Earth. So you can utilize that to your advantage and simply bowl whatever it is that you're, whichever direwolf that you're trying to tame. And this Thylacoleo looks like it's having a great time, chilling around in the ground. So yeah, but you definitely want to invest in some direwolves because these guys are really beastie. They can put up against anything, really. You're not going to have any problems really dealing with any sort of threats if you've got high level ones. So I definitely recommend getting a pack of direwolves. Nonetheless, guys, that's going to wrap up the video for today. That's everything the direwolves can do. Make sure you tame these guys up. They're really good. But yeah, other than that, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe down below for more. But other than that, I'll catch you in the next one.